When 1 year has passed since the arrival of Rapunzel in Wonderland, the group of heroes crossed the Pool of Tears and were guided by Jack to the celebration in the racing grounds that was cut short by the attack of the beasts, most notably the fearsome feline Bandersnatch. The safety of Vadrina village was ensured thanks to the combined efforts of the heroes, Tempu, the white rabbit with strange time powers, and Navi Mesto, who arrived with the spiritual healer Pola from the north.
It's so sad indeed.
It was here that Navi Mesto understood the important role the heroes would come to play in the events to come. Furthermore, Reyna traveled to the realm of the dead where she met Raven Queen, an avatar of death, but she returned thanks to the combined sacrifices of the group. After Jack declared that Rapunzel was long dead, the heroes decided to follow him to Theo's mansion, who seemed to have a plan to bring back the bliss of the past.
Και πολύ καλά θα κάνεις να δεις μεγάλη προκοπή. Γιατί και εμείς την κυρία Σούλα ακούμε, μεγάλο χαΐρι έχουμε δει.
So, they passed through Kotra village of the survivors. There, the village's leader Raja, a beautiful black woman, explained their plights, but the heroes decided not to intervene. Merlin, however, wearing an illustrious hat and playing as the ultimate witch, gifted a large amount of gold to the village. And there the legend of the ultimate witch was born. Because when Kotra village will be destroyed in a terrible fire, Raja, following a fiery signal in the sky, will lead her people to the north, deep in the forest where they will establish the woodland sanctuary. And there the legend of the ultimate benefactor witch, with the big hat, will be passed down to the next generations. After a brief encounter with Caterpillar in Cheshire, who declared that he kidnaps people for sport, the heroes crossed the mushroom forest and reached Theo's mansion, where the servant Glyris welcomed them and prepared the garden tea table. Theo, a man in his 40s wearing a top hat, explained that Father Kronos visited him in his dream and urged him to find him in his house on the top of Jub Jub Mountain.
Ξύπνα, κορίτσι μου. Ήρθε η ώρα να φτιάξεις το πρώτο σου αφάμι.
Ναι, σε ξέρω. Ποια είσαι τελικά? Και γιατί με βοηθάς?
Theo thinks that Kronos can rewind time and let them evade the sorrowful disasters. Jack thinks that by rewinding time he can stop Rapunzel from becoming evil, but he keeps his motives to himself. Journeying to the mountain tops, the group passed through the woodland sanctuary that has grown much since its establishment in the past future, and they quell the destruction caused by the misguided druid Erglas. Merlin inspires a young boy, Tommy, a descendant of Raja, obsessed with the legend of the ultimate witch, to pursue magic practice and gifts him a water gem for a rainy day. Tommy would devote his life in the study of magic, and his bloodline would inherit his talent until magic becomes inherent in their bodies. From this bloodline, House Berlian would be born, and every heir would safeguard the water gem and imbue it with power until the time it was fated to be used. As it turns out, the mountain is dying and its protector, the Jub Jub bird, has gone mad. The springs have been contaminated with time essence and the soil withers, and all who drink from the water are lost in endless visions of timelines, witnessing the truth of this world just like Aiglas.
Αυτός είναι φυτό. Κοίτα ύφος. Η ευτυχία της γελάδας όταν είναι στο λιβάδι.
Tempu yet again appears and helps the heroes defeat the Jub Jub while informing them that his job is the erasing of time paradoxes, as he is a servant of Kronos, who indeed lives on the mountain top. In the House of Time, after solving various riddles and glimpsing into other timelines, the party meets Kronos, who is busy working in his attic. Kronos views them as a variable that must be eliminated to stabilize the realm. But Theo, desperate to reunite with his family even in another timeline, shoots the time wheel, absorbing Kronos inside him. Theo thus loses his mind as he lives simultaneously in all the divergent timelines.
Γιατί δεν κάνουμε μάθημα, κυρία?
Κάθε μέρα μάθημα θα κάνουμε. Ας πούμε και μια κουβεντούλα.
He remains stuck in a never-ending tea party with his family, Glyris and March, becoming known as the Mad Hatter. He also believes that time holds a grudge against him. However, in a glimpse of clarity, he reveals that Rapunzel is alive and that Jack is lying, but no one believes him due to his demeanor. Time becomes even more convoluted in Wonderland, freezing places, aging and de-aging people, and creating illusions of the past.
Ποιος είναι? Ποιος είναι? Ποιος είναι εκεί?
While resting at March Manor, the party receives a letter from the Duchess who invites them to aid her in fixing the situation. Jack, realizing that this might be his only opportunity to steal the beans, he disappears and monitors the group from the shadows.
Και εμείς είμαστε έξω στο μπαλκόνι, στον έκτο σαν τους μπούφους. Τι να κάνω?
Pida.
Rhaena and Merlin travel to Limbo where they greet Raven Queen, but they are brought back thanks to the sacrifice of Sasayuri's and Wusung's bond. The heroes learn that the Duchess is the sister of Kronos and that she exists in different avatars, a baby, a young woman named Adrastea, and the elderly Ananke, sharing the obsession with need and necessity. They also explore the estate and learn of her treasures and of the beans she keeps safe. The Cheshire Cat helps the heroes reveal the mystery of Petit Chu, the monster of the swamp that kidnaps lizard folk. And the Duchess spins the fabric of time and space, stabilizing the realm and evading decapitation by the Queen, and fixing the bond of the party's warlock. Although things seem fixed, the decay of the land, the disasters, and the ravaging of the monsters grow exponentially. Finally, the Duchess grants the group passage to the town of Bochum where they hope to join the resistance. However, the group is arrested while staying at Bochum and they are led to court, being accused of stealing the Queen's beans from the Duchess. During the trial presided by Navi Mesto, a bean is also found on them, further worsening their stand. When the verdict seems to have been decided, the doors open and Servina enters the courtroom stating the truth. Jack stole the beans and framed the group so that he can use the beans to leave the realm and find the savior. Jack finally reveals that Servina is Rapunzel and uses one bean to open a portal to the Blessed Dominion, vowing to find the savior in return by using the other stolen bean.
No, hey, I'm talking.
Okay, my apologies, Miss Girl.
Miss who?
She's not a girl. It's Miss Toller.
It's Judge Toller.
Judge Toller.
Be quiet. I have a question.
The resistance troops attack the courthouse, and in the ensuing chaos, the group are invited by Sood via a note to the abandoned logging camp. There, they find the secret way that leads to Burleighan Keep, the hidden base of the resistance. Navi Mesto reveals his second persona, his heritage, and the plan to defeat the Queen and save the realm, asking the group to have faith in Jack and search for the legendary artifact that can kill all beasts. While the heroes wait for Jack's return, they first enlist factions from the northern seaside into the resistance, most notably the ostracized royal families and their naval companions.
Ας ήταν όλη η ζωή μου σαν και σήμερα που είναι όλα γύρω μας και όμορφα και ήμερα. Τι όμορφα και ήμερα, καλέ, πήρε φωτιά ο κόλος μας.
Then, they infiltrate the capital city of Adeline to ease the grip on the resistance hub led by the fiery-tempered Siscolian. The party learns that Adeline was the name of the legendary hero that saved Wonderland. It is said that she lost her family during the catastrophe but became an inspiring leader and rebuilt the realm from its ashes. To honor her legacy, the first city took Adeline's name. The group made a new enemy, the Moonstalker Guild of Lycanthropes that had infiltrated the noble courts to seek magic items. The heroes also cleansed Elsa's Carnival of Sin, where they learned that the 9 Hells and 7 Heavens are planning something big. They also meet Rumpelstiltskin again, who hints that his investigation proved that Rapunzel is not his child. Finally, the heroes forge the legendary Vorpal blade to defeat the Queen. While all this was taking place in the strange timeline of Wonderland, Jack passed through the portal and found himself in the Blessed Dominion about 20 years before the departure of the heroes. He tries to acclimate to this new land, and while searching for the savior, he joins the castle staff in the service of Prince Frederick. In one of the hosted balls, Jack meets Ariana Glinda, and he is mesmerized because she makes him feel as in Rapunzel's presence. The pair have a secret affair, as Ariana is pressed to marry the newly crowned King Frederick. Ariana ends the affair one night before the wedding, when she and Jack have sex for the last time, and she gets pregnant with Rapunzel, but all think that the baby's father is Frederick. Jack continues to be in the king's service and stays close to Ariana, trying to persuade her to venture with him to Wonderland as she is the savior. After the failed assassination attempt, Gothel, who has long known that Ariana had a secret affair, opened a portal to Wonderland so that Ariana can leave with Jack and erase her traces. The pair arrive in Wonderland and a big earthquake occurs and deep trenches tear the land, while the winds howl from every direction. A meeting is hosted by Navi Mesto where Jack is reunited with the heroes, and he introduces the savior. Ariana panicked and stated that her name is Alice, the first name that she could think of.
Χαίστηκες. Πάψε με Λενή.
Χαίρομαι πολύ, δεσποινισμένη.
Κακά. Έκανε κακά του. Δεν σου είπα εγώ χαίστηκε.
Despite her hiding her powers, when she touched the blade, its magic properties were activated. Navi Mesto declares that Alice is not a proper name for this hero. He declared, "Let it be known that from this moment on, this woman answers to the name Adeline. For just like the legendary hero of the past, she will avert the catastrophe and usher a new age of peace."
Άρα χαθες Μάρη, μη κάθομαι και σ' ακούω. Γκούρι, ζούρι, βούρι. Δεν καταλαβαίνω γιατί με λες τόση ώρα. Και ζούμπι, ζούμπι, γιατί με λες συνέχεια.
Ζούμπι, το χαϊδευτικό του ονόματό σου. Σήμερα το έβγαλα.
Πότε.
Όταν ήσουν υπόθυμη.
Καλά μα, τι πανέξτητη είσαι. Εγώ ήμουνα σε κόμμα και εσύ με κάνεις βαφτίσια.
With renewed strength and the prophecy's fulfillment at any moment, the heroes help the resistance formulate the plan to attack the capital, while parties from all over Wonderland rush to help the cause, as the old world burns. The animal folk of Vadrina Village, the emissaries of the Woodland Sanctuary, the bunnies from March Manor, the Quatoa and lizard folk from the Duchess Duchy. Also the griffin and dragon turtle from the coast, and Lucian's water elementals carrying Sheila's and Aaron's ship with the royal house members on board. Siscolian and her troops created a diversion from inside the castle and Navi Mesto formed an illusion of the Jabberwock outside the castle to help, but the queen had other plans. She appeared on the high wall with the king, he ripped his heart and he transformed into the real Jabberwock just as many of the castle soldiers turned to dark beasts, revealing the queen's secret powers.
Baby, you can't read the doll.
The party faced the fearsome dragon during the siege and when he reached his limits, he accumulated dark power that would incinerate the whole plain. But Navi Mesto broke the ancient water gem that Merlin had gifted to Tommy, and formed a water barrier around the beast that absorbed the blast. And thus, the water gem was used in a dire moment to save the day, as the ultimate witch had intended. The king, having returned to his original form, in his final moments gifted the heroes a shard of his memory. And so, the group learned the whole truth about Rapunzel's rise as Servina, the Queen of Hearts, and they rushed to the palace to confront her, while the natural disasters ravage Wonderland across corners the closer Alice Adeline Ariana Glinda draws to the palace. Is Elphaba here? She would wonder, as she remembered the state of Oz, her homeland.
Mukuro Ikusaba, the 16th student, lying hidden somewhere in this school, the one they call the ultimate despair. Watch out for her.
During the final battle with Rapunzel, she reveals the true extent of her powers and the state of her mind. She is ready to embrace destruction and sink the realm in darkness, while hinting that there may be a connection between herself, Rumpelstiltskin, and Merlin. At last, the heroes subdue her, and her masquerade mask burns away, revealing her face. Then Alice in shock approaches her, and Jack shouts, "Stay away from her, Ariana, she is dangerous still," revealing the identity of his lover to the group. It can't be. I would recognize my girl in every realm and every time. How is it possible? I just left you in Locasta's care. Rapunzel scorns her mother for abandoning her to live her love and shows no remorse. Then, when the two women touch, the power inside Rapunzel resonates with the remnants of the sinister power inside Glinda, and a huge dark wave is created that marks the end of the world, while Rapunzel's body drops lifeless in her mother's arms. And when the columns and the ceiling of the palace would crush the party, suddenly time stops. The debris are floating, the tornadoes stop spinning, the mountains stop sinking and the explosions freeze in place. Then Temple walks in clumsy as always, holding his pocket watch, stating that he is late yet again. There is nothing that can help Rapunzel now. Whatever essence kept her alive is now depleted, as it merged with whatever residual essence was left inside you, Adeline, while you were carrying her. Whatever Nessarosa did to save the child, it worked, but the magic has been drawn, possibly siphoned elsewhere.
Είναι η κυρία Βουνελάκου που λέμε τηλεφωνική γραμμή.
Χαίστηκα.
Σας παρακαλώ! Ελάτε τώρα. Παρακαλώ, κυρία Βουνελάκου. Σας παρακαλώ πολύ.
The baby was sick, because it was a spawn of worlds where time works differently, Wonderland being one of them. Jack, in horror, realized that he is the father of Rapunzel and felt appalled at having romantic feelings for his daughter. As he falls to the ground, the last magic being dropped from his jacket. He never used it to return to the realm, as Gothel opened the way for them. I am responsible for this suffering. I will fix everything, Ariana. I swear on our love. And he used the last magic beam to return to Mercia, hoping that it will guide him to the past. Instead, the beam, or rather the cruel hand of fate, leads him to the moment when his alternate self had just left with Ariana to Wonderland. He spent the rest of his life searching for a way to return to his lover in vain. He died as an elderly man, deep in the mines, having traded the only thing from his homeland, a heart-shaped necklace, meant to be a gift to Ariana when the battle would end, for a chance to see her image again thanks to the powers of the siren. Back in Wonderland, Tempo reveals that he is another avatar of Kronos, that tries to keep the existence of the realm by keeping all the loopholes. He was the one that sent the dream to Theo, so that Father Kronos, who tried to unwind the loops, could be pushed out of the scheme. Tempo explained to the heroes that much like Oz that rests in a dreamlike state, Wonderland exists in a perpetual time loop to keep the darkness from consuming it. Tempo explains that Ariana does not simply share a name with the hero of the past, but instead, she is the hero of the past, that will rebuild the kingdom and leave a legacy of kings. And during the reign of King Henry, Rapunzel and a version of the heroes will arrive again and cause the loop to reset. Your child cannot be brought back. But you can still save everyone, Glinda. Use the last magic you have and combine it with my fading power. Oz's seal will continue to exist, because as the loop remains, a version of you will always be alive in the timeline. As for you heroes, do not be sad. That is our way to survive. You have a far more important task. Find the root of this dark magic. Why did it curse 3 realms? When the root is cleared, everyone will find their happy ending. And then Tempo sacrifices himself to give Glinda the power to stop the disaster, while his watch opens the dimensional portal that transports the heroes over the ruined Wonderland and back to Mercia, through the mirror in Gothel's tower. But when they set foot, Merlin collapses to the ground.
Τα πόδια μου δεν με βαστούνε. Νιώθω ότι θα καταρρεύσω. Νομίζω ότι θα το παραδοθώ.
That's the bitch that I know. I don't know yet, Mom.